Yes, I've got my conspiratorial clip-ons because tonight I exposed the fraud that is George Noory's open lines. What is George Noory afraid of? What is his call screener afraid of? His supposed open lines, which is a bald-faced sham. I actually got through in 3 rings. Told his call screener who I am, that George knows who I am, that he regularly contacts me in emails. And you know what she said, folks? My wanting to talk to George and ask him questions is too off topic for her. And she wouldn't let me talk to George Noory on the air. So much for the fraud of George Noory's open lines. Now, Art Bell didn't have a call screener except on Dark Matter, which I think it was a mistake. He would have gotten a lot more exciting calls if he just winged it like he used to on the air on radio. And I can't wait for Art Bell to come back and push George Noory off the air once and for all. 2015 isn't that far away. It's too far away in another way. But this is the freedom of the air, the freedom of the airwaves that George Noory suppresses. He can't stand to be asked questions. And what was I going to ask him? Why are you constantly having softball questions with guests when they make outrageous predictions like there's going to be a nuclear war, that Iran will be destroyed if they attack Iraq? I mean, Israel will be destroyed. Sorry about that. If they attack Iran. And the petroleum industry and other industries will be driven down to nothing because of free energy in the next 4 years, despite no evidence that free energy sources for everybody on the planet is going to be created anytime soon. And they'd probably be suppressed by those very energy systems that John Hogue talked about. Furthermore, John Hogue doesn't believe that HAARP exists, and yet it's sitting there in Alaska. You can look it up on Wikipedia. They've got the exact longitude and latitude coordinates. And Noory didn't talk about Russia banning bitcoins, Russia killing dogs before the Olympics by poisoning and shooting the poor things straight, thousands of stray dogs. This is the kind of people that the International Olympic Committee gives an Olympics to, dictators like Russia and China. China puts their own people in slave camps and kills their pets because there's too many dogs and too many people. But what is Noory afraid of? Now, he's inboxing me a lot. He told me to fight the good fight over the trolls off of Belgab, and I told him I started my own board. But I guess he's left instructions in his call screener. If that guy from Pittsburgh calls up, don't get his call in the air because I can't take hard-hitting questions from someone else, because that might make me look bad. So I'll take these off now so I can see what the hell I'm doing. But George Noory's afraid. He can't stand anybody that doesn't give him a puff interview. And he's interviewed all the time, but nobody asks him hard-hitting questions like, why don't you ask your guest hard-hitting questions? Why don't you pin them down when they make outrageous statements and outrageous predictions? When the numbers lady comes up with stuff that's blatantly wrong. When your prediction shows everybody is a failure, except for David Morton, who hit it right on the nose 3 times in a row. That's the only guy you should have on the air. Forget about his thing with the federal indictment, because that thing dropped off the radar. And I think it dropped off the radar because they probably dropped the charges, because you can't find anything now 4 years later on the internet about it. Did he ever get convicted? Did he ever go to court? There's nothing there. I've looked. I've looked on Google. I've looked on Bing. I can't find it. But he's the only psychic who's been accurate. It sure as hell ain't Ed Dames or Turi or John Hogue. And another thing, Noory keeps saying that Hogue made predictions accurately on the presidential election results for the last 16 years, when there's a website out there that clearly says fail, 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 fail over and over again. Noory's afraid to take hard-hitting questions and afraid to be questioned about his style, what he does, and the fact that he just mails in the interviews and doesn't really care about the show. And he's got a woman who writes books about rock, and oh, she wrote a paranormal book, but she's writing rock and about some band and whose music, in my opinion, is absolutely hideous. I went, what the hell is that he's playing? So, of course, I know there are those out there on Belgab and elsewhere that like that kind of stuff, but I'm of the type that I want to hear music that I can understand, and that will be played for the ages 20, 30, 40 years from now. People are going to still be listening to the Beatles 100 years from now, but they won't listen to some of these groups out there, no matter how famous they are now. Will they be famous and will they be listened to in 50 years? I doubt it. Okay, well, I'm going to go look here to weird news, but first I have to play my commentary on George Noory and his call screener. And this is how I feel about his idea of radio freedom. And it's only free when Noory decides it's free. So, I can't find the one I wanted. Hold on, let me find this here. I know I got it. Oh yeah, there we go. And this is my opinion of his open lines right here. And this guy coming from out in the desert, right out in Pahrump. So, and now, the other noise I always play, but I think I've got a second noise to play here. And I know somebody said my stuff's too long, that's why I cut it tonight. Let's see. Well, I can't find it right now. Let me just play the usual. Here it is. Well, that guy, that champion of freedom, be it political freedom, economic freedom, social freedom, freedom for dogs to live and run on the streets. Putin bans Bitcoin. In a story sent to me by the privacy guard, Lauren Weinstein, Russia doesn't do things by halves. Bitcoin can no longer be used by individuals and legal entities anymore. If you have a Bitcoin wallet on your computer, you're now breaking the law. The Central Bank of Russia reiterated the official currencies of ruble. It considers Bitcoin a money substitute. So Bitcoin's banned in Russia, and a federal judge has said in August that Bitcoin is a currency and should be regulated. Germany wants to regulate it, and this so-called unregulated currency will soon, in all probability, be regulated by states that want to get their greedy hands on it so they can tax it and such. This is why I trust the old currency, not the crappy fiat currency of Bernanke and whoever the hell the new Fed chairwoman is. All she is Bernanke and drag. I trust silver. Right there, Kennedy $50, silver, 64. Eisenhower quarter, 1936. And I got about $1,200 more in the safe deposit box. So I don't sell the stuff when I buy it. But I buy it. Let's see. Now this is a new one, so that's not old, but I got another one that dropped on the floor. So that's one story. But Russia bans the Bitcoin. Let's see, what else? There's a new pizza perfume from Demeter Fragrance Library. We should send a case to Noory. Mark Crames is CEO of Demeter Fragrance. I may be pronouncing that word wrong. They make the perfume. He gets an email a day with someone asking why would they want to smell like dirt. He has fragrances like gin and tonic and dirt. Maybe they can mix gin and tonic and dirt and pizza. You'd have a dirty pizza that smells like a martini. Scents like clean skin, laundromat, and baby powder among the best sellers. The perfume's available on the company website and will be available at Dwayne Reed and Walgreens drugstores, $15 to $20 a pop, so you can smell like pizza. And I'm sure Noory will be using that soon as his aftershave. Excuse me, I'm so mad about this I didn't put on my headphones. I hope this is recording. Hold on. I think I put it back to the blue mic here. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'm good. All right, that's another story. Pizza flavored perfume. You can hurry up and get that for your girl for Valentine's Day, or your fella if you're gay, or your girl if you're lesbian. And let's see what else is here. What's this? Oh, farewell to Jay Leno. 20-some years on the air. NBC shafted him again, forced him to leave in favor of Jimmy Fallon. I don't like Jimmy Fallon. I don't like his silly thank you notes at the beginning of every show. I think they're dumb. And so if you're an old geezer on the air, I guess NBC, if the people run NBC today, they would have taken Steve Allen off the air, Jack Parr, Johnny Carson, Dave Garroway. They might have kept J. Fred Muggs, who was a pain in the ass and bit everybody. He was an obstreperous monkey, and everybody on the show hated him. They would have taken Frank Blair off, Jack LaScully, and anybody old, because this is a new young network. And if you're 50 or 60 or 70, they consider you to be washed up, despite Leno's relatively high ratings. And I guess Carson wouldn't have made it either. I'm amazed they let Billy Crystal and Oprah and anybody old on the air to say goodbye to Leno. Well, I say goodbye to Jay Leno and salute you. I don't know what you'll be doing, probably polishing your car collection. But I'm going to miss you because I watched you just about every night. I'm sure going to miss your headlines thing, which were funny as hell. Clippings people sent in. And if Leno were smart, of course, they probably stuck him in the non-compete for 2 years, too, or paid him off. But if he were smart, he'd start a show of his own once a week on some network, or start the Jay Leno network, I don't know, and tell NBC to go get hosed. I think it's terrible. I see NBC didn't throw off Letterman. I guess he's not considered too old for CBS. So I guess the closest I'll have to a slapstick humor of Leno, I'll have to get Craig Ferguson. And, okay, let's see what this is. No, I got that. Okay. That's not it either. I got a few stories, but they're all over the place. So bear with me here. New gadget out. It's called a Beep. Not a Roadrunner. It turns any speaker into a smart device, but only... Hold on. And it uses Wi-Fi. They don't like Bluetooth, so you attach it to your speaker, and when you get to the door, you turn it on, and it can put the sound anywhere in the house. Your speaker has to have an aux in port, and you can stream music. Available for pre-order for $99, but eventually the price will go to $149. It will be accepted as ship in the fall. So Reddit co-founder and others came up with this as investors. And the wireless speaker market is at 950 million in 2013, up 144% from 2012. They expect it to go to 2 billion by the end of the year. So Bluetooth has a limited range and is basically a one device to one speaker system. It gets interrupted if you get a phone call. Well, I got Bluetooth and I've never gotten interrupted with a phone call on my iPhone, so I don't get that. And I'm amused by someone I know who put a new video card in his PC and now Skype won't work, which is why he should get a Mac. Mexican public health officials in the northern state of Sonora have confirmed the first case of crocodile, not crocodile, in Nogales. Crocodile is these guys they inject themselves with intravenous drugs and their hands start rotting from this skin disease. It causes the flesh to rot off the bone. It's pretty gross. I've seen pictures of it. So, one 17-year-old girl injected crocodile into her genitals. I don't know what the hell she was thinking. But numerous cases of it have been reported in the U.S. in September of last year. And this stuff is desomorphine, has not been found by the DEA in the U.S. yet. And heroin use has been deadly. 50 people have been overdosed by phenyl-spiked batches in the East. And let's see what else here. There. God, I'm trying to find stuff. Oh yeah, meth, frozen gators. Sorry about this. I got stuff all over the screen here. I got to clean my Mac up. Sheriff's deputies arrested 3 people after finding 2 frozen alligators, illegal fish, hundreds of grams of meth in a Central Florida home. So, and they found an 18-foot-long python in the Everglades. Those things are eating everything in sight. They're eating all the animals. I even saw a video where they ate a damn live alligator. And I don't understand this Philip Seymour Hoffman who told one person that if he dies from an overdose, it would send a message to people to stop using drugs. I think it more would send a message that he was an idiot for using heroin. I've never understood why sports stars, rock figures, and stuff that are a success, they've got money, they've got fame, they've got beautiful houses, sometimes they got beautiful wives or beautiful husbands, kids, everything they want, and yet they have to shoot heroin or take speed or crack or smoke pot or get drunk or be Justin Bieber. Their lives aren't fulfilled enough with all the fame and the money and the glamour. And yet there are people out there that would kill to have the kind of money they have almost. And I don't get it. Why are they so unhappy? Why do they have to resort to drugs that eventually kill them? We've seen too many people die from this stuff. Are their lives so unfulfilled that when they're not on stage, they can't stand being themselves? I don't get it. Okay. And I'll comment on that. Let's see. Here's... well, I don't have much else to say, except I'm going to be doing regular reviews of the books in my paranormal bookshelf. I'm rereading one of Donald Keogh's books, Aliens from Space. And this is going to be a short one, I guess, because I'm kind of dumbfounded that I guess Noory's only... Oh, yeah. Yeah, hold on. There is this story. This is from Lauren Weinstein again. I'm going to quote it pretty much verbatim. Noory's guest tonight said you don't have to give attribution or get permission for 250 words or less. So I guess I don't have to get permission, but Lauren Weinstein sends me these privacy emails all the time. They're invaluable. I've learned a lot from them. Sochi company has been killing thousands of dogs for Olympics, calls them biological trash. The company's been killing stray dogs in Sochi long before the Olympics. It ramped up the activity after a hound recently found its way onto the floor of an opening ceremony rehearsal. I was surprised they didn't take the Olympic torch and set the poor thing on fire. Or light it, pour gasoline on it and set it on fire and watch it run around the arena. Bosnia Services Director General Alexei Sorokin declined to specify whether the animals would be shot or poisoned after they were rounded up, although accounts coming out of Sochi described dogs spitting up and collapsing, both signs of poison. This is what you get when the International Olympic Committee gives Olympic sites to dictators and would-be dictators like Putin, who wants to bring back commie Russia, because you got commies over there that never stop being commies. They were commies under the Soviet Union. They were commies under Glasnost. They were commies under, oh God, I can't remember that guy. The guy that succeeded Gorbachev, and they're still commies. And they want to get back to Ukraine. They want to get back Belarus. They want to get back Moldavia. They want to go back Hungary. They want to go back to the Cold War, dominate Europe. And if we're up to them, Russian tanks will be on the English Channel and waiting to cross into England. Where are the Winston Churchill types we need today to say enough is enough with these people? And the same with the bums in China, who Hogue said the other night, they want the economic power that they have, but they don't want the freedom that goes with economic power and prosperity. And he thinks that eventually the Chinese will overthrow the Politburo and become a democracy. Well, I hope so, but I'm not counting on it, because there's lots of economic power in Taiwan, and for years they had an effective dictatorship under their leader, Chiang Kai-shek. So I don't know if that would happen in China or not, unless all the people in the countryside revolted and all the people in the cities revolted, for one thing, because their air is so polluted they can't breathe. But Weinstein said also, welcome to Mother Russia. By the way, track the stories about hotel horrors in Sochi, everything ranging from no water, poison water, wiretaps. They were wiretapping our diplomats, cell phone tapping, you get the idea. Yeah, let's have the Olympics in Putin's Russia. What could go wrong? Oh, Yeltsin, that's who it was. Boris Yeltsin, that guy. Good man. They tried to overthrow him. They tried to overthrow Gorbachev. So, you know, that's what's going on there. This is why many people in the Baltic countries, like Lithuania, where my mother was born, when it was part of East Prussia, part of the German state before World War I, will never trust the Russians. Not the Russian people. There are Russian immigrants here who are decent, good people. And I'm not talking about the Russian mafia that's here. Regular people immigrate here for a better life, but to get away from the government oppression that they have lived under all their lives. But their government officials are corrupt, crooked, or communist. There's no middle ground. They can't pay their troops. Their massive fleet that they used to have is mothballed and rotting at the docks. God knows what's happening with their nuclear reactors and those submarines, if they're rotting or if they're spewing out radioactivity. And their former missiles in those submarines. I suppose they've decommissioned them, but who knows what. Maybe they've sold them to terrorists. And Noory talked about a heating and air conditioning company having their site hacked, and that's how they got into Target's site. So Weinstein also talked about Slate talked about Bitcoin scams. The an FBI report identifies third-party Bitcoin services, businesses that exchange Bitcoins for regular money. And they may require customers to submit valid ID or bank information to complete transactions. And I don't think Bitcoin in the long run is going to be viable, because the governments will find a way to restrict it, tax it, ban it, or whatever. No Justin Bieber news today. I don't know what's happening with him. Big salt shortage in New York City. And somebody said, we detect the fine hand of Mayor Bloomberg. He's the one who wanted to ban salt from New York City. So, salt shortage in New York State. And here's a comment. They claimed he has predicted, this is Hogue, who would be elected president. The last 10 presidents. I just heard him say on Coast to Coast there was no such thing as HAARP. It was an internet myth. He sounds more like an insider with that statement. Oh, there's a comment on my video on the other night. They have admitted there is such a thing as HAARP that can be used for weather modification, even though apparently it's shut down right now. They want a new contractor. Everyone knows about HAARP except Hogue. Predicting who is to be elected president, now that they know how rigged everything is, any insider could do that. And, oh God, what the hell is his name? Not Obama, but the other. Biden says he'll decide whether or not to run in 2015. Well, I think he'd have a problem getting past the wildebeest. And, I don't know what is going to happen with the governor of New Jersey. I don't think he's going to be the nominee. I think that whole bridge scam, traffic jam thing is gonna pull him down. And the lady that engineered that, she just resigned from his employ. And I don't think he has a chance in hell to be president or be the Republican nominee. And Hogue says he doesn't see a morbidly obese guy becoming the president of the United States. And I think in at least this case he was right. And I will say, in his defense, he was also right when he talked about the Weimar Republic and the massive hyperinflation. My mother told me you couldn't even get a box of matches when she was a child, but her family had grown their own crops and stockpiled, and they made things and bartered them for food. They knitted sweaters and scarves and things like that because it gets cold in the winter on the Baltic. Even though they were on a river, they weren't on the Baltic. They were about, I don't know, 70 miles away from the coast, but it still got very cold there in the wintertime. And she told me how they used to pile the snow against the walls of the house. It insulates the house. So I don't know if you want to try that, but she said it kept the house warm all winter because the cold couldn't get to the snow. You do have to cover up your pipes, though. And well, that's about it. I'll be more prepared tomorrow. I'll do another video and podcast. I was going to do a podcast tonight, but the thing with Noory kind of took precedence. And somebody online doesn't like the fact that I don't want obscene words on my discussion board. Well, I substituted words for the usual F word, the M word, the MF word, the A word, the S word. If you type those in, another comment will be made, because there's no need to have that kind of language on. I use too much of it as it is when I get upset or angry, particularly at customer service people. I shouldn't. But there's times you're so angry you can't even think straight. Particularly when there's something, they've messed up an order, or they've overdrawn your account through no fault of your own, stuff like that. Or they've failed to work on your car. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, but there's a lot of people that are just, they shouldn't be working on people's stuff because they're incompetent. And there's a lot of competent people, too, out there. There's people out there that know what they're doing, and they're very nice. I talked to someone on Amazon tonight. I got the magnetic board that's arrived with 2 dents in it. I'm going to still use it. They gave me a slight refund. And I could have sent it back, but I don't want to. So, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Free Art Bell. Hello, the bell gabbers that used to like me and like me. Go to my discussion site, the guy from Pittsburgh, and post. I need some post in there. And I'm posting on stuff that I find interesting, but I want to hear what you say and what you think about Putin and the dog killings, Russia banning Bitcoins. Is Bitcoin a viable currency for the future, or is it going to collapse? It went down $300 today. And that's something Noory didn't cover either. It's more important to have people who write books on rock. This guy and Wells were fascinated with rock and rock stars and stardom. And that's not Coast to Coast. That's Entertainment Tonight. If I wanted Entertainment Tonight, I'd go to the television over there and turn the channel on. I want paranormal news and news of the weird. And we're only going to get that from one guy on the air. Except in podcasts. And there's a ton of paranormal podcasts out there. That's Art Bell. We'll never get a decent show from Noory. And I'm willing to be nice to the guy, but every time you turn around, talk about off topic. He's been off topic for 10 years. He snowballs the people. He softballs the interviews. And he hates the paranormal. That's why he has this stuff about finance and Bitcoin and now a lady who writes books on rock, and then she decided to branch out to write a book about paranormal and the ghosts she's seen. I wonder if she's seen the ghost of Art Bell's Coast to Coast or Dark Matter out there. All right, this is the guy from Pittsburgh. I'll catch you next time. Have a great weekend, and I hope the weather's not too cold or too snowy where you are and you're digging yourself out. Bye-bye.